Okay, welcome everybody. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Who wants to get us going today?
Me.
Oh, okay.
On page 16, I learned that if anybody opposed Hitler, they would be either beaten or imprisoned. I wonder why Hitler would do this if his whole point of doing it, of becoming like the king or to rule everybody, was to like bring them all in, but now he's pushing them away, making everybody want to leave because they're scared of him. When it said anyone who opposed him was beaten or imprisoned, soon the prisoners were so overcrowded that new ones called concentration camps had to be built. I realized on page 16 that Hitler was hurting those people because he wanted to show them that he was the one that had the most power, and that he wasn't going to let anyone in the way of what he was trying to accomplish.
Yeah, because he thought that Germans were better than Jews, and that was his way of showing it.
He was also mentally ill, so.
And on page 17, it says that on November 9th through 10th, 1938, Nazis would go out to Jewish stores and pharmacies and burn them down or vandalize the stores. I thought that was like a way of showing that he's the one in power, and no one can stop him and what he's doing.
On page 36.
I'm gonna take a minute and just kind of jump in. I noticed, Allison, you brought up some evidence, and so did Jamie, and you both were talking about kind of similar things. The fact that that Hitler has control over the Jewish people. It made me question, made me wonder. You had kind of brought this up in your evidence that he felt like he was superior to everyone else. Why didn't anybody speak up for the Jewish people?
Because they were afraid they might be put in jail, or that they might be killed.
Yeah, because it also said that, like, it's talking about how the Jews, they went into, like, hideout and stuff because they were Jews and the German people wanted to take them, so they went out into hideout, and then said that if they found out that there was non-Jewish people, like, helping out the Jews, that they would be killed too.
That's why that's why a lot of people were caught, because none of the Germans wanted to help them very correctly.
Yeah. But on page 36, I noticed that it shows like a report card, and then it said that Anne Frank, she had all good grades except for one bad grade in algebra, and then it said that her parents they didn't really care that she had one bad grade, and I kind of was wondering why didn't they care at all.
Right, because of what the other things was happening, what were occurring. They were so focused on that instead of their grades.
Because they're too focused on what's going on with Hitler, they don't really worry about her grades as long, because it says, my parents are quite different from most. They don't care a bit whether my reports are good or bad as long as I'm well and happy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean,
The Holocaust is happening, and who cares if you get one bad grade? I mean, all the other ones were pretty good, and the fact is that if the Nazis could storm in your house at any moment, you would want to be happy for every moment before that happened. So
On page 20, it says about the Jewish children on their way to England. Most parents would send their children on to England before them to safer countries because they didn't want nothing happening to them. And the parents would sometimes the parents would be forced or turned away, and the Nazis wouldn't let them go to they wouldn't let them leave, and they were forced to remain in Germany.
Okay, so it sounds like what we're saying is that the priority was not on grades and not on the schooling. The priority was on hiding. Priority was on getting past, just surviving. Okay, so I'm wondering, how did Anne Frank survive? I mean, what were some things that her and her family did together to make it by?
They started to move a lot. Like they moved, I can't remember what it said, but they moved like every few months or years. And then once it started, like everything else started to occur. They found out that they could start hiding, so they went to hide with Mr. and Miss Van Pelt. I think that the names was.
Yeah. Their name was Van Pels.
I agree with Allison because if they keep moving, that shows that they really want their kids to be safe and safe from all the Nazis, from them catching them.
On page 31, and I said that like I felt bad for these kids because like they all have to wear like stars and show how they're different by culture, and they just had to wear stars, and it just probably was not fair to all those kids.
So technically, what Hitler's point was is to have like every Jew and make them feel like they weren't like they didn't mean anything, and that out of fear meant something, so he could push farther into the society and make people think that he was almighty and the ruler. So yeah.
So it sounds like what we're saying is that idea of ruling with fear and dominating has taken over this whole entire community, right? Anne Frank and her family. So, and I had asked you, what do they do to help get through it? And I noticed that we had brought up that they work together to be safe, right? So I'm wondering, how does that connect to some possible themes in this book? Even though, or kind of central idea.